hard to follow up speeches like that. Oh, Reece. Well, I never thought this day would come, but Reece, Wayne, Hadlock, R-Dub, Reece, my best friend. We all had our own little nicknames for Reece. For most of us in this room, we all saw Reece as the same person. Funny, kind-hearted, and just a very standout human being. Throughout this talk, I just want to remind you all about some of those amazing things that we found in Reece and that we all knew and loved. Growing up, Reece and I were thick as thieves. We did everything together. We played video games together. We played football together. And the best we played was WWE for hours on the trampoline. We created our own little wrestling team and we battled to the death. One of the best memories and funniest that I have of my brother was the backyard football. Reece and I would go through our house and grab every sweatshirt we could find and pack on as many as we could fit onto our little bodies. After we were all padded up, we headed out to the front yard. As we could barely move our legs because all of the sweatshirts and arms, we would take turns returning kickoffs to each other. We would smash into each other with no fear over and over again. Even though I was a little bigger and faster than Reece, it would never stop him from going as hard as he could. It ended in many fights. When Reece and I were young, we spent about 90% of our childhood playing sports, whether it was basketball, football, baseball, or wrestling. We could have such a good bond playing between the sports. But then there was also the competitive side of the relationship. This was one of the things that I valued most about Reece's and I's relationship, was the fact that we were so competitive about everything. Reece and I would end up fighting by the end of every activity we did, and even through the age difference, it was nice to me and gave me the ability to win most games. Reece would never quit. No matter what happened in our childhood, Reece would never give up. One thing that I admire most about my brother is the fact that he had the biggest heart and he would never quit. He had the heart of a champion. One thing that would always catch my attention was Reece's will to win. The kid was the strongest and had the best mindset in the world. He would never let anything stand in his way. Reece and I would also have our shared love of video games. And most of the cousins on my mom's side of the family, we played a lot of video games. A couple games we would play were NBA 2K, Madden, and Call of Duty. Through video games, me and Reece found a brotherly bond that most brothers don't. I'll never forget how good Reece was at all these games. I think the reason he got so good at these games was because he was always having surgery, so he was laid up and able to practice while I was at school. Then I would get home and we would play against each other and he would beat me nearly every time. Reece was so smart and he played video games totally different than most kids would. Instead of just jumping on the Xbox and playing for fun, Reece would study every video game with depth. He would go through all the tutorials and practice runs and learn every play. Then when it was time to play, he would just kick anyone's butt. Reece's smarts didn't just go to video games either. Reece was one of the smartest kids I've ever met in my life. Every time I'd bring home my report card from school, Reece would have straight A's and B's, but me, I would have B's and C's. I was always a troublemaker growing up in class, always in the office, messing around, but with Reece, every teacher loved him. And I just want to say to all the teachers that had me and also had the honor of having Reece, I hope that he made up for all the hell I put you guys through. One thing that I never had a clue about was Reece's ability to write, as most people have said already today. I'm probably going to repeat some of the things that my Uncle Sam said. After Reece had passed, my family and I had the chance and honor to go through some of his writings and stories that he wrote. His mind and his passion for writing blew me away. The things my brother would write about were absolutely amazing, and I wish that I would have known the talent that he had before. He would write about some of our times together, and the way he described things were just perfect. One time my dad made us go out, and it was in the middle of December. There was 3 feet of snow on the basketball court, and my dad made us go out, and me and Reece went and shot, and he described in one of his stories how perfect, just every detail that had happened that night, he described it perfectly like I was reliving it. I'm going to share a piece that Sam already shared, but I thought this is one of my favorite stories that he wrote about. It's the "Victory is sweetest when you've known defeat." That's Malcolm Forbes. This quote truly speaks volumes and is very relatable. I like this quote because I have lost a lot. I've lost summer pickup games on the hot blacktop, friendly games with my brother that were never friendly. Hell, I've even lost a toe. But all these times I've lost only make me hungrier. I want to be better and win. So when I finally do and look back at all the pain and embarrassment those losses brought you, it makes the victory even more meaningful, because most times I win pickup games, and even if by a snowball chance in hell I beat my brother, I smile and laugh in his face. And every day when I look at my other toe, the little piggy that did come home, I get happy because any dub is a good dub. For me, when I saw this, what Reece wrote it was amazing to me to see how he would word everything. It made me think about what was going through his mind in his life. It showed me that he has the most amazing heart because of all the hardships he had to struggle through. He didn't quit, and he pushed through all the adversity that he was given, through all of his surgeries and every other hardship in his life. As Reece and I got older, we started to find different interests, and we were not as close as we had been in the past. But even as we grew older and found new friends and even girlfriends, we still had a bond that was stronger than anything in this world. We shared the same love for one certain thing. Now, as I said before, sports have always been a huge thing for our bond, but one sport that is much better. But one sport has specifically made our bond extra strong. Basketball is one of the things that made our lives so much better. Our relationship when it came to basketball was a different one. Reece and I took basketball more serious than most brothers. We would base everything in our lives around basketball. Reece was my biggest and most influential coach and also fan during my basketball career. The endless hours on the court with my brother made me the player I am today. Without Reece, I would have never played competitive basketball. Reece is the one that rebounded every shot for me, would change my shot when it wasn't falling right, and tell me exactly what I was doing wrong. And let me tell you, when my brother would coach me, I would be sure to listen, because he had the most intelligent basketball mind in this world. He thought of basketball not just as a sport, but as a way of life. He taught me so many things about basketball and life that I can't even begin to list them all. My brother's mind and love was the most amazing thing in this world. He knew every player from Dick Barnett to Kobe Bryant. He knew every single record and stat that you could think of. And oh man, they could have been the most random stat in the world, but he knew it. His intelligence for this game was out of this world, and it made Reece happy. I do believe that Reece's life revolved around basketball, and that is why I think he is such a special thing. It is such a special thing for my brother and I. Just a couple more stories. I remember one time my brother and I were at my great-grandma Sharon's house, aka Cotton Top. I don't really remember why we were there because I was only 6 years old. But as the amazing brother I was, I decided to take a water wand and swing it round and round until it finally made contact with Reece's head. I ended up smacking him upside the head with the water wand, and he had to get a bunch of stitches in his head. We rushed him into the bathroom, and Lydia was in the bathroom. I think she was just getting done washing her hands, and there was blood everywhere, and it was a pretty funny event. I guess not funny, but. One more story I remember was when Reece and I were a little older. Reece and I would go on the basketball court that my dad had built for us. Reece and I would make up our own players for ourselves. Reece was a 5'6" point guard that had crazy good handles and amazing passing vision. My guy was, of course, a 6'8" shooting guard with deep range. I would lower the hoop as low as it could go so we could dunk and really make it feel like we were in the NBA. Those endless hours of basketball were the most fun times I had growing up with my brother, and that I'll never be able to forget. Reece was a very special kid to us all, and he lit up this world more than anybody I've ever met in my life. Reece had a heart of gold and a love that was so deep, nobody could ever replace him. Reece will forever be my best friend, and even though he is not on this earth with us anymore, he will always be remembered in my heart. I know that one day I'll be with my brother again, and I cannot wait for that day. I hope wherever he is, the pain he felt is now gone, and I know that he's in a better place. I love you so much, Reece Wade Hadlock.